Hello, my friends, and welcome to today's Top Leaders Live. I'm Jen Anderson, and it is my goal and my pleasure to help you become the tech leader that everyone wants to work for. Today, I've got some information I want to share with you about maybe you might be over delivering at possibly the wrong time. So I want to share with you some of those thoughts. And I want you to think about something as we're going along. If any of this resonates with you and you're thinking, you know what, I really need to have a conversation with Jen, please get in touch. Go to movingforwardsolutions.com. And in the top right corner, you will see a Let's Talk button. Schedule a time. Let's jump on the phone and talk about what I can do to help you with training and coaching so that you can become the tech leader that everyone wants to work for. So let me tell you a little story. My husband and I, we order this bookcase on Amazon, and it comes with a whole list inside of this little catalog here of all the things that are supposed to be included. Dun, da, da, here's all the things, okay? Lots of little bags of random little screws and nuts and bolts and all the things, right? So we're going along, and before we get started, as every dutiful do-it-yourselfer does, we made sure, do we have all the parts? And guess what? Part C, we didn't have any of them. And we looked, and we tore apart the box, and we looked everywhere. We definitely even interrogated the 6-year-old to find out, did she haul it off, right? Did the dog take it into the kennel? Nope, none of that happened. Okay, so now we decide, what are we gonna do? So we contact the manufacturer and they say, sure, we can send you that part. A week later, still hadn't seen anything, didn't get a tracking number. So then I contacted him again. I said, hey guys, I never got a tracking number. Is this coming? And then all of a sudden, it was like showing up just a few days later. Okay, so that part of the story set aside for a second, I wanted you to see this is what we needed. These little screws right here, okay? This little bag of 45 screws and one little hex thingamajobber, okay? That's what we needed, okay? However, let me show you what they sent us. All of this, plus this bag of screws, okay? All of this stuff, you guys. And when I got the bag, it came from DHL, and I picked it up, I thought, oh, this is heavy for just, I knew it was just gonna be a little bag of screws, and I opened it up, and I'm like, holy Maria, there's just all of these things. I'm like, we have all this stuff. We don't need all of this. What we needed were these. Now, what I want you to think about is how often are you thinking about, let's do something for a customer, and this can be an internal customer to your company, or this can be an external customer, right? And so it doesn't, there's lots of different ways, right, that we have the interfacing with our customers. And so sometimes your customers are going to be okay with it. Like for us, we're like, okay, it's fine. It was a mistake. No big deal. Although having a pile of lumber and all the metal pieces for this thing in the corner of my living room for a couple of weeks, not great, but whatever, we'll get over it, okay? So I'm willing to deal with it. I'm excited to have it done, right? Okay, so I'm willing to put up with that, with a little bit of pain, waiting for part C to show up, okay? So sometimes you're gonna have customers who are just gonna flat out flip out on you and just be like, what are you guys doing? This is horrible, right? Like all of the things. But more often than not, I bet people are gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, okay? And so when you're thinking about how you can make a difference for your customers, might I suggest doing all of this might be a little bit overkill, okay? This was not the time to over-deliver, you guys. Is what I kept thinking. The time to over-deliver was when they're packing the thing up in the first place and just make sure that the stuff's in there, right? That's the time to invest the time and the energy so that when it shows up, we can peacefully, easily unpack everything, lay out all the screws and all the things on the couch, put the pieces together and just put it up. And therefore, then I could unpack my boxes of books and I could put it on the shelf and move on to the next project in our house, right? Okay, that's the time to over-deliver, right? Not later. And then to provide all of the extra, like, thingamajobber, what, I mean, just like, oh, for the love. Anyhow, it's disappointing for me as a customer But I'm also thinking about those employees, like all the multiple times that I email back and forth and they're scrambling. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and get this to you, right? So put this in context of you being a leader of your team. And maybe just sending a little part and getting it done quickly and fast, right? Maybe that's just the thing that your customer really needs. Maybe you don't need to give them the whole truckload of all the parts, right? Too much. They don't need it. They don't necessarily need it. So again, when you're as a tech leader, the metaphor for this and when you're looking at this for your team is, listen, what can we do on the front end, right? So a couple of thoughts for you. How can you make sure you're over delivering at the right time? Like, when is the right time to do that, right? And then the other thing is, are there people on your team that you could possibly be tapping into what they might know? Like, maybe you're overlooking some people who don't even know, like haven't ever really like shared thoughts or whatever, right? And you might say, well, that's not fair. Like, if they're on the team, just open your mouth, right? Okay. But sometimes people aren't wired that way. So it might be an opportunity for you to connect with them and say, hey, come on, what other ideas do you have so we can wow our customers so that we don't have to worry about sending them a bag of bolts, so to speak, later, right? What can we do to make sure that all the parts, all the features are in there that they're going to need based off of what they expected, right? All I wanted was just this stuff. I didn't need it times 2, right? So, and then the other thing I want you to think about when it comes to this whole idea of over delivering, right? And over delivering at the wrong time or the right time, is there an opportunity for you to say, okay, if this is my brand, that's what I want to be known for, then how can you weave that into thinking about the over delivery process, right? And I'm not saying like all of a sudden your brand has to become, I'm the over delivery person, right? Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, how do you want to make sure that your brand fits into that? And if you're sitting here scratching your head and you're thinking, Jen, I am not sure how those all fit together, is a perfect time to get in touch with me for coaching, because your brand can help you in so many areas as a leader. And the more you do that, the more it's going to really help position you to become the tech leader that everyone wants to work for. So get in touch with me at movingforwardsolutions.com. Top right corner, click on Let's Talk. And let's schedule a time to talk about how some coaching and training can help make a difference for you. So we can figure out for you what's the best way, so that instead of having this action happen in your team, instead you can just make sure it's coming to them right when they asked for it. Won't sound better and a heck of a lot easier, right? All right, my friends, thanks so much for joining me here on today's Top Leaders Live. I look forward to helping you become the tech leader that everyone wants to work for.